Hi guys, welcome. I'm really excited that we have a lot of familiar faces here today. That just makes me happy on the inside.
Somebody actually came back.
Yeah, it means people come back. It might not be visually happy on the outside, but you know, whatever. I'm Mariah, if you didn't know. I organized this meetup. I am the founding organizer of this meetup, which is awesome. Started after last year's GopherCon. Just so everybody knows, GopherCon is next month. So if you can't go, it's the 24th to the 27th. Sweet, I'll be done by then. So they do live stream a lot of their talks if you can't go. They also post them to YouTube after. I'm going to be doing a workshop there, Machine Learning and Go, with Mr. Daniel Whitenack. He's in charge of it. I'm helping, but he hasn't written anything yet, so we'll get there. We got a month. I messaged him about it like 2 days ago, so we'll get there.
Where's it at?
It's in San Diego.
Oh.
Yeah.
They need to bring it to Salt Lake.
There are so many people that go international to that. So they had it in Denver for 5 years. So.
Oh, Denver.
Yeah, Denver was easy to book.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility of having one giant carpool in 10 hours in a car with me.
We've thought about renting a bus and sending all of their back-end developers down, and then they decided that hiring more people was a more important use of resources than so that plan was canceled, but they are paying for my flight because I'm speaking, so whatever.
Hey.
Anyway, just be aware of that, and if you get a chance to watch any of the talks.
Will your talk be broadcast?
No, because it is a day-long workshop. But I'm sure I will do it again at some point because it's machine learning and Go, and I like to talk about that topic a lot.
I know that's something that I put on the list when it said, what are you interested in?
Well, some people have already heard me ramble about machine learning and Go before, so
That makes
it's
sense.
a very, I love that topic, so I'll probably hit it again. Just want to remind everybody we have Slack. It's the Forge Utah Slack. Forge Utah is the nonprofit that sponsors all of the meetups that we host out of Weave. Weave sponsors Forge Utah, so you know it's illogical why we have them at Weave. But so there's a lot of resources in there for everything from Go to machine learning to random crap.
Is this busier than the Utah channel of the general Go?
Yeah.
Slack?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. This is busier than all the things.
Okay.
So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. You can hit me up anywhere else. That's my spiel. If you have any questions, you can get me after. Make sure to grab a sticker, and the time is all yours, Robert. You can introduce yourself or get going or whatever you want to do.
All right, great, thank you. I'm Robert Lee. I have been programming professionally since '92. So that's 20, what is that, up to 27? Over 25 years, so let's just go.
It's 27.
No, not that long. Not that, it isn't that long. Grows up through the ranks, C++, C++, Java, and meanwhile, little Adobe Flex, little Groovy, and then did some Scala, and I did a couple years of Go. Now I'm back working at the Church Riverton office building, doing Java. And quite honestly, Cole that works with me, so he can tell my coworkers what I said. It's disappointing. I'm like, how much do I have to write just to do something?
Did you ever think you would miss Go when you were first learning it?
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting things going on, no pun intended. If anybody's wondering, no, this was not an accident. This is just a little foot surgery. I may be sitting down a bit here and there. Actually, it's healing up just nice. So We'll be fine. I'm very excited to be here. Education, teaching is a passion of mine. I went and got a master's in technology and engineering education. I'm still holding out that I might be able to use that sometime, although
You are.
I'm doing it right now. Secondary ed just be on the but adult training. And quite honestly, I love Go. And quite honestly, I love test-driven development. Now, I'll tell you a story from way back when. Probably it was my senior year of college. I had one semester left. It was springtime when I graduated in the summer. I was shooting across campus. I had a research or a paper, let's call it, to turn in. And I put together and running off to get to the professor. As I'm going across campus, it's last day of classes. And I hear hooping and hollering and had people having fun, last day of classes, we're done, yay. And then I get over to the computer science week. And to go into the labs there, and there are people just, okay, if I can get one more thing, or even worse, it doesn't work. What's going on? Well, to be honest, it doesn't need to be that way. And that's what we're going to talk about with test-driven development. Art of fearless coding, confidence in coding. What we're going to present is something very fundamental, something very simple, and yet so many people just refuse to do it because it's a different way, it's tedious.
Boring.
It's boring. Have you done TDD?
Yeah, I don't like it.
She doesn't like it. Well, we're going to see if we can convert her this time.
It helps if you have ADHD. Like TDD is the only way I can get code done.
So let's begin. Book. This was published, Kent Beck, I was thinking 1998. Let me double check. Title, let's see, next page. Publication, there we go. Let's make this, oh, no, 2003. Okay, 2003.
Same.
Yeah, it seems a little late. I think it
5 years.
came out, I think it came out a little sooner. Anyway, Kent Beck, turn of the century, there was a group at a company called ThoughtWorks. And Martin Fowler and Kent Beck are the two main big names. And they were also part of the Agile Manifesto. You've heard of that. I don't know if you have or not. It's all right. But they kept coming up with ideas on how to make development better. I just saw, let's come over here. It's gonna work. Yeah, that works, okay. And come over. I don't have it open. Anyway, there's a new book, there's a book, second edition of a book by Martin Fowler called Refactoring. And the first version was just revolutionary. I'm excited, this came out last year. Martin Fowler, The Art of Refactoring, I think it is, and has some comments by Kent Beck, who's also the one who put together TDD. All right, let's come back here to presentation. All right, test-driven development, what is it? The idea, as you're coding, is you write a test. Then you run the test and you see it fail. You make enough change to satisfy the test, and then you run the test to see it all succeed. And then at some point you refactor. Nothing terribly complicated here. Actually, how this came to be is at that time, those people at ThoughtWorks particularly were big into what they called extreme programming. And the things that really that stuck with extreme programming are paired programming and test-driven development. What they would do is they would take some concept and push it to the extreme. So paired programming. Well, code reviews are good. The more often you do a code review, the better. So why not do a code review all the time? And so you have paired programming. Testing is good. The more often test, the better. Why not write the test first? So some call this test first development. All right? Now, why would we do TDD? Well, typically, what you do is you write lots of code, you test when you get to it, and then you hope it works. All right? Works good enough. I mean, most people, when they get into coding, they're like, I know how to do this, and I can go slide through. But then we're all fallible, and we miss something, or we didn't think of something, and so we test. But how well are your tests? And what's going to bite you later? Test-driven development, on the other hand, is you write code in small chunks and you test as you go. And you are confident that what you have written works because you have thoroughly tested it. Right. Chunk, test it as you wrote it, and then you can move forward. So back to the scenario with the college students. Now at that time, test-driven development hadn't really been thought of yet, but if you start with a college project and you write small chunks, make sure it works, it's tested, and so you get to the last day and you say, I need this one feature, but I know the rest of this works, and you're based on that. They wouldn't have been quite so stressed. It would have been much nicer for them. Now, of course, you can't blame college students for procrastinating to the end, but we can't fix that. All right, benefits of test-driven development. There are many that Kent Beck has listed. I'm going to stick with these two because I am arguing, those that know test-driven development, I'm going to say that test-driven development is not about unit tests. I'll talk about that at the end. For the rest of us, remember what I said. We'll get to that. But number one is you get confidence in coding. You know what you have works. And second, clean code that works. Now, some beginners, intermediate, most people kind of beginning. How many of you have started to work on somebody else's code? How was it?
It sucked.
How many of you have started working on it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working with horrendous open source code. It's not good.
Sometimes your own code is that somebody else's code when you come back to it a year later. You're like, who was the dumb person that wrote this?
Oh, wait.
Oh, it was me. Oh, crap.
And you're exactly right. And the goal here is clean code that works. As you go through this process, the codes can be much cleaner. And as we go through our example here, you'll see that. All right, there's lots of mantras they like to put with this. Clean code that works. And he makes a point, divide and conquer, make it run, and then make it right. The other one is failure is progress. It's counterintuitive, but it's true. We write the test, we see it fail. That's progress. We change the code, and we see it succeed. And This is also counterintuitive. Do the least amount of work as possible. With that, red-green refactor. Some of the earlier Java tools that were using TDD, you would have red when the test failed, green when the test succeeded. Visual Studio Code doesn't do that for us, man. But anyway, it's you do red, you do green, then refactor. All right, let's do our little coding practice. Let's write a function. It's going to accept a date as a string in the month, day, day, year format, and return true if the date is valid. And we're not going to cheat and use existing libraries. So 31 days in November is not valid, and February 29th is valid in the year 2000. And we're not going to worry that the string is not correct. We're going to say that, no, that's already been checked. And with that, let's do some coding. Now, I really don't like to use my laptop keyboard. Since I code with a regular keyboard all the time, all right, if I just sit down here, and this is going to be highly collaborative, and we'll together go ahead and put this challenge together. Let's move this over here. And let's see here and show. There we go. Mr. Mouse, come back. Let's do this. There we go. All right, so come back to here. All right. So we're going to write a function. So we're going to put in a package. Okay. Those who are starting out, let's ignore that word. What should we call this? New folder. So you put the package in a folder.
Is that testing folder?
This is our
What are we making again? It's a calendar?
It's a function to validate a date.
So why don't we call it date validator?
Okay. You want to call the whole package date validator?
Is the package going to be validating the date or
P601.
Huh?
is the package going to be validating a date?
Yes.
Then that's what I want to call it.
Okay. Now, we're supposed to make these things small and not camel case. So, huh?
Should call it date validator, hyphenated? That too long?
Oh, you can't use hyphens. Date underscore. Sounds good. Okay. All right. Now we're going to create two files. What should you call these? Date validator. Okay. Date validator.go. And at the top we say package date validator. And we're going to say date validator underscore test.go. All right, and package date validator. Right. What do we do next? Write a test. You got it. So we're going to say func test date validator. And okay, this is the little syntax here, T, which is a pointer to the testing package dot and the T variable. Okay, if that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, that's quite all right. We can hand wave past that. We'll get to some good stuff that we won't hand wave past. And so how we gonna, what this function gonna look like?
It's probably going to expect something.
How about a Boolean like is valid? Gets validate date, passing get a string. Yeah. Date. So let's just go ahead and put in 6/26/2019. Is that good?
No.
Let's make it 6/27.
06.
Oh, we gotta say 06. Okay, that's good. 06,
Yeah, you're right.
26.
That's not today. It's yesterday.
Is it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to 27. Didn't work.
See, it's collaborative.
That's true.
It's true.
That's true. You should make it break first. That's right.
Now, I'm gonna do another hand waving. There's this wonderful little package that's not part of Go, but everybody uses called assert.
Everybody does use that.
Yeah. Assert gets assert dot new, passing a T. Let me save that, and I really like this about Visual Studio Code is it will pop up the import statements for you. All right, and so we're gonna say assert dot true is valid. All right. Now, nice thing about Visual Studio Code is it gives you this nice little run test, and it says, yeah, expected package, blah, 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 blah. All right, failure's progress. We know what we're doing. Okay, so let's go over here to date validator.
Why did it fail?
It doesn't expect a package named date validator. It can't
You just
find.
didn't pass anything in?
Yeah, there's just nothing there. So in other words, this file here,
It's empty.
it's empty.
We have no functions, there's nothing.
So was T as something T supposed to be this pack file?
Excellent question. All that was testing stuff. And I didn't explain that very well. One thing I really like about Go is it gives you some really nice testing tools. One thing I dislike about Go is they're very verbose. So what we have here, we're defining a function and it's given a name, and this is one of the parameters. And what Go has is a package, which is a set of functions called testing. And inside of testing package, there's something called T, a struct called T. You can see it up there, and it's got a couple things for you. So that is what that's all about. It's using Go's testing stuff to do our tests. And yeah, it's kind of verbose. As I've gone along and learned new languages, I used to be very meticulous in trying to understand syntax. And I suddenly, as I go to new languages, I realize, no, it's just syntax. It's what they defined it to be. Okay.
Don't get too hung up on.
Don't get too hung up on the syntax. So anyway, that's what this is about and what this is this is the signature that Go's test routine will look for. It will look for something in a file _test and has, Tatum, do you remember, does it look for capital test at the beginning? Or is
Yes.
it just,
Yeah.
yes,
It requires a capital T on test.
capital test name, and then it has this particular signature. That's how their testing tool works. Yes,
And making your screen a little bit bigger.
absolutely. Let's see
It's
here.
Command plus.
And plus, there we go.
Thank you.
Is that good? All right.
I didn't even notice notice I was squinting till
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. All right, back over here. Okay, well, actually, we're gonna come back over here. Okay, so we said that our function is gonna, oh, you know what? This is our big public function. So you're kind of new to Go.
Just assume everybody's new.
I've never seen them.
Just assume everybody's new.
Everybody's new. Okay, great.
Assume that, and then Tatum can have her question.
And yeah, well, we know Tatum. And, oh, well, actually, Cole, this is my coworker, Cole. Nice to meet you guys. Where was I? Okay. Packages. In coding, you have what you call scope. And scope means, can I see something? So when I write code, can I see this function? Well, in Go, you have what you call package scope. Package is defined up at the, as packages define the name of the directory that it's in. And everything that starts with a capital letter is visible outside the package, which means somebody else can use that thing, struct or function. If it's lowercase, then it can only be seen inside of your package. So back to here, when I said, don't worry about this. We're using the package testing, and testing has a struct T, and it's a capital T, so we can see it. Assert has, the assert package has a function called true, the capital T, so we can see it. And true takes, actually because, well, no, okay. No, because I did the new here, I don't need to pass T in here, it gets a little confused. That is the little, anyway. Assert true T, yeah, I don't need to pass that. I don't need to pass T in. There's mud?
Yep.
All right. Let's come back over here. Save that. Date validator. Oh, back over here. We call this function validate date. I'm going to copy that. And so we're going to define here a function, validate date. And we said it takes a string. And it's a type, which language am I in? Is it capital S? No, lowercase. String. And it comes out.
You're right. I'm gonna get you on that.
We're going to call a variable date, and it's a type string. And this function returns a bool. Everybody familiar what a bool is? Right. Okay. Now, we've written some code, and we put our function in. So if we try to run now, it's going to say, oh, okay. There's still some problem it has. Expected package found in a file. Maybe I didn't save this guy. All right, let's try this
It's
again.
not returning anything. That's your error. You said return bool, and there's no return statement.
Is that my problem?
No, well, there's
Oh,
the red squiggly, yeah.
yeah, take a look there. We got to do a little more. So I ran it, and we got different errors now. Use of package, accessor without selector, undefined, and yada, yada, yada. Okay, but Mariah is correct.
That's why it won't build.
So what should we do? Well, we should do something as simple as possible. How's that? Now we go ahead. Oh, come on. Do that. This slide. There we go. Okay, return true and back over here. And we go ahead and say, run it again. Undefined is valid, undefined is valid. Oh, I didn't put my colon right there. That's what it's choking on. Yeah, you know,
And assert isn't defined either.
assert, it should be up there.
No, I'm saying you need.
Oh, assert. Okay,
So is the colon just used to define variables?
It's
in
used
that?
as a declaration, right? You can use var or colon equals. Colon equals is just the shorthand,
Cool.
and it infers type with colon equals. Var, you do have to declare type.
should I type that out for that, everybody, just real quick?
Maybe just do one of them that way? and
So
then-
you can either say in Go, var assert get assert, or they have the shortcut assert colon equals. Everybody loves the shortcut, but it does bite you. Because it has to be the first time the variable is assigned. And so if you come down later and you reuse the variable, then you can't use the.
I remembered. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one of those things about Go that you kind of say,
So if you did var assert, you'd have to put bool after and then equals assert new? Or
I could say var
or
assert,
whatever it is,
and that's good. I can say var assert bool.
or whatever
that-
type you want.
No, then you do enter assert.
Oh, and then I've got it, yeah, then I have to say assert, yeah.
But at that point, you cannot use, if you've already used the var assert bool, you can't use assert colon equals.
On assert,
Actually, it's not a bool, it's some other
whatever,
type.
but whatever type equals.
Yeah. That is. I like that attitude. That's cool. Yes. Good question. Are we good moving on?
What's the GitHub link up there? Did I miss that?
That came when he threw assert in.
Yes. Okay. It's this link here.
Automatically picked it up.
Okay.
So I mentioned earlier, okay, testing is a package that's part of Go. Assert is a package that's not part of Go. And so you put the whole path to the package.
It's the import statement.
There we go.
So it just says, we imported this code to use it.
You kind of a Java background. Okay, yeah. Import
Sorry.
statement. Well, yeah.
Is that what that terminology comes from?
Actually, it's from C. No, pound include. That was C. I'm sorry. All right. So we have assert true. We have no squiggly lines. We run the test and ta-da. Now, this may seem hokey, but the thing I really like about this little exercise we just did is now we are confident that we have everything set up right. Okay, we've gotten past, oh, I forgot this here, this isn't there. I have something that works now, and I'm confident about that. So I love that step. Now, let's go ahead and write another test and watch it fail. One thing that,
Is this considered the refactor step now? When we get it, fail, pass, and then you write it to be more accurate to what you want?
excellent question. Refactor is something that's kind of done a whole lot less often. You take a look at it and you say, can I make this a little better?
So it's not every step.
Not every step.
Oh, okay.
So right now, there's no refactor. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna write another test. And I'm gonna use is valid. And notice with Go, I don't use the colon equals now. I use the equals sign. Search is valid, gets validate date, 06, 31, 2019. And then we're gonna say assert dot false is valid. Okay? Fair? And now if I run that test, it's gonna say, no, error should be false, test valid. Okay. Now we're gonna go on, we need to move on to some code. At this point, let's talk about what we're doing. Kent Beck suggests you have a notebook next to you. I oftentimes just like put comments in the code. Let's just do comments because we're right here. How are we gonna approach this problem?
Just a quick question. What extension do you have in VS Code that automatically put in?
It's called VS Code -Go.
VS Code -Go? Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
That is the official VS Code Go.
Not the just plain old Go with the gopher.
Well, it has the Go symbol. I'm saying if you click on that, then the handle will be VS Code -Go.
Okay.
That's this guy.
Oh, I have
It
that
does.
one already.
It's
I don't
maps.
know why mine isn't working.
So you need to reload it and then you can go into the configurations and make sure it's turned on.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah. My biggest problem half the time is just dealing with the IDE.
All right. Now, like I say, a lot of people, they want to jump ahead and code everything right up front, but you do need to kind of have a map of where you're going. So how are we going to approach this project? What do we need to do? Clearly,
I would Google the dates, because I don't know what months have 30 days or 31 or whatever.
yeah, well, don't feel bad because I don't either. Teacher's corner, how many days?
You were
Use your
prepared for that.
knuckles. 30 days, have September, April, June.
It's your hand trick, right? Oh, the nipple does it.
The knuckle trick. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here and we're gonna say, identify how many days are in each. Okay? What else we gotta do?
Well, we have to be able to associate certain numbers like 6 with something.
Okay, so let's say extract month, day, and year. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Great. Anything else? Extract month, day, year, we identify,
You know which years have a leap year, right?
okay? Know which years have leap year. All right. Let's go with that. Let's go down that path. Okay, divide and conquer. Let's make it work. Let's go ahead and extract the month, day, and year. Sound good? So what do? We're gonna write a test. Now Kent Beck said, run all the tests. That was many years before Go. One thing I really like with this environment is I can test a single function. That way I can leave that failing test right there and we can get back to it later. Let's see here, func test, what do we want to call it? Split date. And it's going to take a date, and it's going to be a string. And now Cole's going to drop his jaw because he's never seen Go before. This is what you can do in Go. I'm going to return the month, day, and year. That's it. Remember with Go, you can return tuples, which means more than one return value. So I'm just gonna use my cheating. If you notice back here, I've got this demo practice section. So I did this a little earlier. So I'm just gonna write, well, let's see here. What we gotta call our function first, don't we? So we're gonna say a schoolhouse. Hello, Robert. Why is everybody looking confused at me? Because I'm putting stuff in the wrong place and I'm talking faster than I'm going. Squirrel. All right. I defined my function before I defined my test. Shame on me. Func. Actually, this is what split date. Okay, let it be capitalized. We'll come back to that. Func test split date. You notice it suddenly said, oh, this is test, so it gave me those things. And we got this T, which is start testing dot T. And then we're going to say assert. It's assert dot new, passing a T, so we can do that. All right, now we can say month, day, and year, get split date. We're going to pass in 06, 27, 2019. And let's say assert dot equal 6 month, and assert dot equal 27 day, and assert dot equal 2019 year.
Be 06 month.
This here is now an int. An integer, as opposed to a string, doesn't have the leading 0. So strings, we can do whatever we want. Integers or numbers, you gotta do what you gotta do what the math says. All right, so split date. All right, it doesn't see it. Undefined split date. Okay. Now we come back over here and we're going to say func split date. If I save that, it's going to give me the squirrely thing and say missing return at the end. So once again, let's just go have some fun and say return 06 27, oh, caught me, 6 27 2019. Save that. And now we can run the test. Now, why do I do that step? Because I know it's all set up now. I'm all ready to go. Now, Kent Beck makes it clear is that you go through the small steps and you learn the small steps so you can know you can do them. As you get going, you can do larger steps. And as things are working and larger steps are fine, you do that. But then when things get messy, you go back to smaller steps. So there we're doing the smaller steps. And once again, I like this because I know everything's set up properly. Okay, back over here, my bragging, I did some little research. So I'm gonna say data colon gets strings dot, no, there's a strings package.
Yeah, you need the S, strings.
Yeah. I must have hit delete. Okay, strings dot split. And it takes a string, which is date, and a separator. And what this is going to do is give me a slice of strings broken out. Slice is like an array. Okay, and then we were already told that it's already formatted properly. So we can simply return data sub 0, data sub 1, and data sub 2. And now save that. And what's its problem? Oh, okay. Got ahead of myself again. Wake up, Robert. Squirrel. Month colon gets data sub 0. And everybody see what I missed? ASCII to, okay.
Yeah, you need to
String
explain that.
convert dot A to I, get back in the right language,
There you go.
and day sub 0. Day. Day, colon gets str, C and B dot.
String
COND,
converts, is that what
yeah,
that was?
string convert dot A2I. There we
What
go.
does A2I stand for?
ASCII to integer.
Oh.
A2I data sub 1.
ASCII like it's written out in ASCII. I think A2I is also what's used in C.
It is, it's an old C name.
Why is it coming in as ASCII character?
So ASCII meaning part of a string.
So ASCII is ASCII, like Roman numerals I.
Isn't that the like numbers that's referencing?
It's exactly like, yeah, so it's basically saying string as a slice of bytes, symbolic of runes. So we're gonna take your string, convert it to runes, then convert it to integers. Or vice versa. So this is actually saying,
3 times fast, say that 3 times fast.
so it's just saying, take the string, make it a number. But it's, the A2I is explaining how it does it,
Yeah.
and nobody cares, like,
It's like once
that's
you know
why
it
we
doesn't
write
matter.
functions, so we don't care about how it works.
A2I returns 2 values,
An error.
just so you,
Okay.
That's not working.
Yeah, it works everywhere else, but where you want it, does it? Okay, returns 2 values. It
Well,
returns
if
an
you
error.
save it, it should give you an error and
Oh,
say
there
why.
we go. We'll save.
There you
And
go.
there we go. We've got errors there because now, interesting, mismatch. It returns 2 values. The value is an error. Now, we've already been told that it's valid, so I'm going to do this. This is just,
Bad go. I'll let you do it, but it's bad go.
we could come back to that.
I'm just making a point that it's bad go. You can, for the sake of your demonstration, I will let you be in charge of your code.
he just doesn't want to have to change all of his colon equals.
That's, you wouldn't have to. You don't have to for the second declared.
Okay,
But yes, keep going. Sorry, I apologize. Oh, you're right, he does have to because he declared them on the.
Yeah.
I was being tricky. So in Go, you can also name your return values up in the function signature. And those names now are declared, so you can use them internally. But since they're not new, I couldn't use the colon.
That's the same thing as doing var month, var day, var year. And then it's just saying you're returning these 3 variables as they would have been declared. It's beautiful shorthand.
Sorry, just to make sure I understand.
Yes.
So your return values, that counts as a declaration. Basically.
Yes,
Yes.
if you state what the name of the return value is.
Yes.
If he had just put int, that does not count as a declaration. But because he put 3 names, that does count.
And the other shortcut is I don't have to say month, int, day, int. I can just go ahead and say month, comma, day, comma, year, and it's all int. See why I'm kind of like, why is Java so backwards?
Let's go a white space language.
No, it uses the curly braces. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we have this implementation now, and we come back here and we say, run, and we are good to go. All right. It is 7:22. I've got plenty of time. Cole, you don't need to stay. I can get a ride, no problem. I can't drive. Somebody put a cast on my right foot. I call my wife. She's 15 minutes away. She'll come pick me up. So, do we want to keep going, or do we got a good feel and want to wrap it up?
Doesn't go till 8 anyway?
if you, the meetup has it scheduled until 8. I usually wrap up talks around 7:30 for when people leave, but if you guys are good to stay, we probably got another 20, 30 minutes of us before we start zoning. So as long as you guys are up for it, I say go. This is good and educational and interactive so far.
All right, is that good? All right. Let's move forward. No, they didn't say go forward.
But we like
We
puns.
love puns. They're called dad jokes now. Okay, so we're on split date. Okay. Do we need to add more tests on split date? I'm satisfied, but if you want to put some more in there, that's great. Let's go on to our next task. So extract month, day, and year. All right. Identify how many days are in each month. You do that? I think we can write a little function that'll do just that. Oh, Cole said something. Why is this a lowercase s? Because this is a function that I don't want to make available to everybody. This is just something to do some calculations internally.
So lowercases are available to anything in their package. So
Yes.
that's the date validator folder.
Yes,
Okay. But then if it's capitalized, it's available to any other file. Okay.
exactly right.
It just exports it essentially?
Yep.
Okay.
Bing. Like, oh, I like that. It's one of those educational fun things.
Go's the best language. Learn it real quick.
Essentially, lowercase is like the default scope for Java.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to write a test. All right. Func test get days and month. And do our little T star testing dot T. Now, I'm going to show you a whole mess of code that I've got to write. But this is one of the really neat things about Go that Java can't even hold a candle to. When Ken Peck did this, he did it in Java.
Ooh, Java.
This is something really awesome. It's called table-driven testing. And let me just type it out and tell you. So I'm going to I got a little thing, it's going to be a test. And it's going to be a slice of struct. Okay, so far? And in the struct, I'm going to have a variable I'm going to call name, and it's going to be a string. And I'm going to leave it right there for now. By the way, I just call it name, doesn't have to, you can call it whatever. We're going to use it. Okay, now what you can do, this is another nice thing about Go, is I've declared this struct anonymously. I didn't have to give it a name. I didn't have to say type testing struct. Within the function, I can just go ahead and declare a struct. Kind of cool. And I can initialize values in this struct up front. Now, this is a slice of struct. So here I'm initializing the slice.
Did the square brackets do the slice? Is that the slice command?
That's the slice command. And remember, slice is like an array. For our intents and purposes, call it the same. No big deal. And so inside of the slice, now remember, no, it's curly braces instead of square braces. Don't get hung up on syntax. It's what they did. I'm going to define a instance of the struct. And so I'm going to call my name test1. And in Go, you have this thing is when you have a list, you always have a comma, even if it's the end of the list. That's just the Go, yeah, trailing comma. That's what they like. All right. And so that's that first part. Now what I can do, is anybody familiar with the for loops in Go? All right, for loops. This is a really nice type thing. I'm gonna say, now underscore means I don't care. So I'm giving an underscore and a test, and so whatever I'm gonna call is gonna return 2 values. And it's, what I'm calling is range.
What don't you care about?
I can tell you.
Okay.
I'm gonna do range on tests. Now what this is, range does, is it returns the index. And so normally with for loops, you say for I get 0, okay, so this is gonna be in the slice, index 0, index 1, index 2. But in this particular case of what I'm doing, I don't care about the index.
It's just omitting the index.
And then this is whatever is at that index. I'm talking up front, I'm sorry. People in the back, we're good? Kind of coming? Okay.
Doesn't JavaScript do it a very similar way? Don't they range over it, or is it just Python that ranges?
I think
Just Python.
I don't do JavaScript. I only
don't
do
do
Python and Go. Python does range as well.
a nice thought for the future, but
Yes.
The old-fashioned way. They have for each.
Kind of like
I'm saying the for each operator in JavaScript runs very similar to range and Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you know JavaScript, it's the for each.
Oh.
Java does kind of a for each in now too.
Yeah, Java's not real. It's an enterprise language, so it only exists for people that don't do real fun stuff. Maybe.
Oh, we're talking about, we're putting down Java.
Oh, okay.
Then we go to no post.
Sorry.
Sharp is better Java.
Okay, so then we got range test and we do the curly braces. Now here is what is really, all right. I am going to throw something else at you. And I am going to say assertion is the name of the variable. Nothing special about it. And I'm gonna call it assert. No, we can't do that here. We've got 3 values coming back. Never mind. We're gonna leave it just name. If we stick around long enough, we might do that one elsewhere, but it's confusing. So let's just go with that. In this struct, okay, so we've got a name, we're just gonna leave that. And we've got a month, which is gonna be an int. Day, which is gonna be an int. And a year, which is gonna be an int. And then we're gonna say expected, which is gonna be an int. So what I'm saying here is this struct, it's a test by this name, and I'm gonna pass it these 3 values, and I'm gonna expect that value back. Now I can't do assertion. And I'm gonna do assertion, assert dot, comparison assertion func. Remember in Go, you can pass as parameters. What can you pass as a parameter? Integers, strings, slices, arrays, maps, structs, interfaces, and functions. So what this is a function that takes a T and a number of interfaces and returns a bool. So this is just some predefined function that assert did for us, and it's going to be really nice. Because what it's going to do, we're going to have a test here, and we're going to say, let's see, 6/27/2019, and we're going to expect, oh, we don't need day in here, do we?
Not for this one.
Not for this function, because we're just saying how many days are in the month. So we got 6/29, and we're going to expect 30. And it's going to be, if it comes back as 30,
There are 30 days in June.
okay. Anyway, there are 30 days in June.
Yes, comes
And
back as.
so compare true, okay, yes, we're gonna, oh yes, okay, I'm back with it. Assert, assertion, assert dot, equal. We're gonna say whatever we return from our function is equal. Okay, so this is gonna make sense when I type this in. All we have to do now is say test dot assertion. This was a function, and so we're just calling the function. I'm going to pass in, it wants t. Ooh, I missed a step. What's this? Okay, t dot run, passing it, test dot name, and then what is it?
It's the fun.
Func t star testing dot t, and then we just, there we go. I just typed in a whole bunch of gobbledygob, breaking one of my rules of keep it simple when teaching people. When I said that Go gives you some really nice testing tools, this makes it a way for Go to run a bunch of tests in parallel, make it go quicker. And this table-driven makes it so you don't have to keep writing the test over and over again. Because all we have to do now, okay, so we're running, and all we say is test.assertion t, and we're going to call our function, which is get days in month. I'm going to pass in month, which is an int, a year, which is an int. Syntax. No, we're not defining the method here. Thank you. Okay, we're passing in test.month, test.year. Age is catching up with me, and I'm confusing the living daylights, tell you. Okay, get, and that is all I need. Okay, let me explain what this gobbledygook was. Talked about here, we have a slice of struct. And so each one of these lines is going to be our test. Okay. Then I use the range to go through all the tests. And so here now I can say test 2, and I'm going to say 1, first month of 2000 should have 31. And assert dot equal. Okay. This makes it so I can just define the data. I can throw as many tests as I want, and all I have to do is write that line. This is called table-driven testing because you have a table of tests that you just throw at your test.
They just whip through it and then each of them.
Yep. just loops through and it's gonna do. Now what I put on there is this function that it's gonna call. And what that function does is calls our function and says, does it match? And actually, I'm supposed to have another parameter here. Get days in a month at test.expected. I'm gonna cheat. I am gonna cheat, demo practice. Let's make sure I'm right. Test days are, yeah, you're gonna hit up, okay. Thanks, Cole.
Thanks.
Assertion, hard days a month. Correct. And a second. And then I said,
The assertion's different up there.
yeah, it is. This is called coding late at night. Oh,
Are you in the right test suite?
test date parser, test validate. This is valid, so 6. Oh, okay, that's the approach I took. I think I'm right. Okay, the approach I took is I give them a date. Is that date valid within that month? We're just getting back.
Differently.
That's okay. Mariah, is this right? Well, let's see here. I think it is.
Looks correct to me,
Yeah, we'll run.
because you're comparing the result to the expected
Yes.
against test. So I agree that that's a correct statement. And assertion handles all of your error cases.
Yep. Okay. Beautiful. Let's run it. Expected operator out of range. Test gets range of tests because
I have a colon issue. They don't line up. Not your colon, your braces.
yes, okay, so we've got that and that, and okay.
Another parenthesis too, is that?
The parenthesis is because I have an inline function. And so that comes here. I said, and then this lines up with that. And then this,
And what's the bottom one saying?
expected, oh, I know what that is. Well, no. That's correct. Struct, test, frame, T.run.
Would it be throwing an error because you have a comma after the table, the second table test, even though you don't have anything after it?
Trailing
Go
comments.
expects that.
Okay.
Good point. Most languages don't do that. Expected operator.
Oh, you need another parenthesis. So the line that has test.assertion, there's an open parenthesis there.
I need another one there, don't I?
Yeah, you need one more closing parenthesis, yeah.
That will help.
10 points for Steph.
Okay.
But it's still not like in
helps
something.
some.
See, this is why I use the rainbow parenthesis
I love that.
plugin for VS Code, because then it color coordinates my parentheses.
I like that.
Okay, I'll have to get that.
It's
very
it's just
nice.
like you use it once and you're like, oh my gosh, I can see it now.
Yeah.
All right.
Copy paste. Oh, sorry.
Rainbow
Do we need
brackets?
4 before the range is declared? Yeah, 4
Yeah.
before the underscore.
Oh, yeah.
Am I not
we
saying
don't have
4?
that.
No.
Well, duh.
Catch.
I second guess myself when
Good
I saw that.
catch. That's an awesome catch right there.
Okay.
We still have it.
Yeah, we have an extra print. We don't need the trailing one.
We don't need that one now. Okay.
That's your eyes playing tricks on you.
There we go.
That's something.
Why is it still?
Okay, get days and month now. Undefined. That is what we were expecting. All right, we wrote our test. And now we gotta say, func, get days in month, passing get month, int and year, int, and it's gonna turn to int. And return 30. Now let's see if we're all put together properly. Run test, and the winner is fail, not equal actual 31. Because, oh, yes, because winner test 2. Thank you. It's getting late. Okay, and one nice thing about name is, yeah, right there it says test 2. That's why I call it name. You can call it whatever you want. Some people call it error or whatever. But that pops up the name of the test and lets you know what's going on.
So the name string is the first argument in the second curly braces part. That's the name. Okay, now it's making, I'm putting them all together.
Right. Now we come back here. Let's put a little implementation in. What about a good old switch statement?
Oh, yeah, use that.
Switch on month. Or, yeah, switch on month. And so let's come back over to, let's see here. So April, June, September, and November are gonna have 30 days. A nice thing about Go again is you can say, okay, April is 4, June is 6, September is 9 and 11, colon, return 30. And I put case. There we go.
So each of those individual or commas.
Keep the semicolon.
Thank you. And I don't need curly braces, do I?
No, you need the colon at the end of that. Get rid of the colon after case.
Oh, colon after case, colon at the end. Thank you. All right, there we are. Everybody good with that? That's the nice thing about Go because other languages make you put case, 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 case. Yeah. All right, let's say case 2.
Inside the curly brace.
Oh, thank you. Save us a little time there. Case 2. And we're just going to say return 28. Why? As simple as you can. And then default, return 31.
Are we gonna have issues because we're returning one thing? When we're expecting to return 2?
What are we expecting return to?
Oh, no, we're not actually. You're putting, never mind. I read the function wrong.
Good catch.
Good not catch.
Good not catch. Way to go. Good question.
Will that need to change once we start factoring in leap, or we'll just be like, it'll make sure it's February and then it'll check for the leap year after that?
Yeah, so that will be our next step.
Okay.
Let's make sure what we have works.
Sure.
And so date validator, we have 2 tests already in place. One is 30, one is 31. That succeeds. If we go test 3, and we're gonna say 2004, 29. Oh, I'm sorry, let's go back. 2003, 28, and assert dot equal. There's still some boilerplate there. And you know, like I say, when you're feeling comfortable, just add. You know, and let's put one more, test 4, 2004, 29, assert dot equal. Okay. And so we run that test And so it's gonna fail, and where does it fail? It says in test 4, expected 28, actual 29. Okay, there's the rhythm. Now, we're at 7:48. I'm thinking this is a good stopping point, because the rest is just gonna be, writing more code, doing some more of the same thing.
Could you publish this to GitHub and
Absolutely.
share on the Slack?
That'd be good.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
This is why we have Slack, YouTube.
How do I publish it to Slack?
Just get on Slack and comment the link.
Oh, the link to GitHub. Yes,
To GitHub.
yes.
That's all I ask. You don't need to put code snippets. That's too much. Link to GitHub.
Link to GitHub. All right. Let's come back. I promised slideshow, whatever. Play from current slide. All right, so I added some more coding challenges. You could go on and then say what format the day it is in. Is it month, day, year, day, month, year, year, day, month? And then 2 or 4 digits in the year. So if it says 76, what does that mean? Something to play with. Okay, TDD is not about unit tests. Unit tests, anybody know what unit tests are?
That's what we were writing.
No.
Yeah, well, it is.
Unit tests are tests that you write to test a function. In object-oriented languages, you test a method of an object, a public method. They're supposed to be comprehensive, and you only do public methods, only the ones with a capital letter. One thing I was doing is I was testing all the small ones. When you have this part written, then what you do is you refactor and you pull out all the little small tests and make them into your unit test. And then you have a unit test that works for that piece. Unit tests can be tedious. They can be a whole lot to have to maintain, because anytime you refactor the code, you got to refactor the tests. People argue that you can do the same thing with bigger tests. That is, you just test the whole system, called integration tests. That is a valid argument, and there's lots of good arguments about it. But TDD, on the other hand, is about confidence in coding. It's about writing clean code that works. And then you can move to unit tests. That is my spiel.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Robert?
Can we go back really quick?
Yes.
One bit of code, well, maybe 2. Okay. On the ranging that we are doing here.
Yes.
So what is T?
Excellent question. And this is one of those funny things they do. Okay, so you declare T as the testing.t. It's passed in, and it does things. It's structure does things. Okay, and down here we see T.run.
Okay, so.
And the common thing to do is just declare another T.
Okay.
We don't need to.
We could call it alpha, whatever. It's just name of a variable.
Okay.
But yes, that.
So T is something from tests.
From testing.
From the testing package.
Okay.
And that's what lets the compiler know this is a testing function. and this is how we handle testing functions, right? So that's when you run the assert, that's how it knows what the name is and why it gives you all those things nice and pretty, is because it's running off of the Go testing package defined in T.
Okay.
So T, like Robert said, T is the typical syntax in Go. Everybody says T star testing dot capital T. That's just the standard, how everyone finds it. It's not a required thing to use T. That's just what people do. And it's just lets you know, it lets the Go compiler know what you're doing.
Okay. And then with the test assertion,
Yes,
what are three, sorry.
3 args.
Yes, 3 R's.
So test dot assertion, that's a function, let's see, compare
So
assert
you're
function.
throwing in the testing package, right? So it can run on top of the testing package, your function, and then what you're asserting.
So what it's telling you is, I'm asserting, okay, it's just
T is just a wrapper for the testing.
Just a
function.
wrapper.
It's just a wrapper.
and then we call our function, and then what we're expecting.
So we're asserting equal between the 2 parameters, right?
Okay,
So
so we're saying get days and month invoked should be the same thing as what I expect.
exactly, that's what it is.
It just lets you write a whole lot less code.
Yeah.
If we have a second, I have a little cheater I want to show you guys, and then you can leave whenever, but I'm gonna steal the screen from Robert and show you guys my little cheater real quick. So this is part of the VS Code Go thing. Command plus, come on.
There we go.
So if you have a function here, you highlight it and you have the Go plugin installed and you do Command Shift P, you can generate a unit test for the function or for the file, and it pulls up your table driven format for you.
Wow.
Okay, show me that again.
Okay, Robert, this is for you. Okay, so I did that on main. Let's do this on one that's a little bit more weird. So if you go Command Shift P is your command palette. It accesses commands for any plugin. So for my Go plugins, I have generate unit test for file, generate unit test for function.
Yes, there you
Do
go.
for file, if all functions.
So you
did
just,
one,
you just have that you wrote that as a tool or as a
I didn't
template.
write that. That just came as, it's in part of the VS Code Go plugin.
Okay, so it's in there.
It's built into it, so if you just do, it's Command Shift P to go to the command palette, and it's the same thing we just did, right? We got our test table. They just put, Robert was doing a whole bunch of different args. They just have an arg struct.
Yeah.
And then you run your tests. He used assert to have 1 line instead of 14.
Yeah.
So that was his point. I'm just saying, if you forget it, this is how I do it 90% of the time. I write any kind of unit test or test at all because I forget tables, and tables are nice. So I wanted to show you that cheating because I could.
Yes, you see, I usually just have a template someplace that I copy and paste, but it does it for me.
Let's give Robert another round of applause. You're welcome to hang out as long as you want.